Well, I'm gonna go get something to drink.
Be familiarizing myself with my character sheet again. And one of my
Yeah.
consumables is my robe.
Yep.
I don't know why my robe is consumable. Like, is it like a tail-off tracksuit? In a cool fashion.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Normal is, I think, grabbing water.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Oh, Tuesday next week is when the early access of the new monster manual arrives. So I think
Ooh.
most of, especially this campaign, will be playing already with new vampires monsters. New everything.
Looking forward to
actually.
that.
Oh lord.
I heard they will be making like, instead of just like vampire spawn and vampire lore, there's like 6 types of vampires or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're making a
Should we be
fast-
afraid?
No, it's yes and no. It's just like, oh yeah, instead of having only one strong vampire spawn, now they have like very early stages, weak vampire spawn for level 1 characters, for example.
Mm. Okay, cool.
Yeah, these sort of things. This is pretty cool.
Okay.
Fortunately, we're not going to play with new harpies, Matt. But probably we are starting to use that in Fendaling after that. Oh, just because it will not be here at time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I imagine
Darn.
if you find a harpy that you want to kill, you are doing that tomorrow. So
Most likely, unless we just happen to run across some after.
yeah. And I remember us in the last 10 sessions with Talon, since Alder shows up, it's like, maybe Talon will stand and kill Altair.
I mean, maybe
Who knows?
he's just like, you know what? Not worth it.
I'm excited for tomorrow, though.
Excited to be playing again. My coworker
yeah.
that I tell all the D&D stories to, she looked at me, I think it was like last Friday, and was like, Matt, I can tell you haven't played in a while and you really need to.
So we all. So
Yeah.
we all. When the normal is back, we're going to do a.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we can go for a kind of long recap first. Let me just open some soundtrack here. That I forgot. Henku is not working. Oh no, Kenku is working. My soundtrack website's not working. Okay, that's not a problem. Right. Okay, guys. So a bit informal and slightly long recap today. It's our warm session, the session that feels the Death House chapter. But I want to hear from you, not just from the Death House, but in general things. What do you guys remember? What do you think is important for us to remind where you guys are right now? Or what happened last session? I think we started as soon as Hector lost his soul, basically, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I think that was the last of the session.
We were in the middle
before
of fighting
last
with the
session.
specter. And it was the maid who was crying about her baby.
Yeah. You were
Which
fighting.
I was gonna say, which we know that the dad of the house cheated with the
Yes.
maid, and they had an illicit son, Walter, I believe.
Yes. I was about to ask you guys, so far you explored all the floors from the death house and most parts of that basement. My question to you is, knowing what happened in those ladders, knowing some stuff that happened just by the locations you were exploring, and now talking to the children that you know they're dead, what so far you guys could picture it out? What happened at the death house? At least from your perspective.
Besides everything with the maid, it also seems like the dad was doing. Both the parents seem to be involved in some kind of cult behavior. There was that letter from Strahd we found in the secret room in the library.
Yes, this one.
Yeah, he read them for filth.
So in this letter sent by this guy named Strahd von Zarovich, which is pretty sure the characters is the first time you guys heard this name, he mentioned something called the dark powers of this land. Some entities, maybe. But it seems that Elizabeth and Gustav, the Durst fathers, father and mother, they were doing some sort of a cult. And there's a name, I think Marcos was the one that took all the books and the tomes, right, from the secret room?
Yeah, Osibus or Osibus.
Yes. You got one book entitled as The Rituals of the Undying. The book that contains some knowledge about some dark arts. Some very... I'm not saying normal because that's not the kind of standard thing, but some dark spells and magic, usually from necromancy things. But this is a bit different. And they don't call this entity called Osibus as a god. They just mention him as some herald of wealthy, influence, power, and most of all, immortality. It seems that this Walia was killed by some influence of this cult, and the baby Walter, Rose and Thorn's kinda brother, was stillborn or even like dead, just like a very brief time after it was born. The siblings were talking about a monster that was locked into the basement, and they know about that because some howlings that some cry that they could hear every single night when their parents were not dead. You know that they were always locked into their room, but for some reason, the last time, their parents never returned to open for them, so they basically starved to death. By the state of the skeleton, and as you were going to the upper floors, the house was getting older and older, you can stipulate that this truly happened centuries ago, and something is still holding up the house and making the other floors to look new, and even creating the images of Rose and Thorn that you first met. That they told you it was not them; it was just a bait from the house. At the basement, you found signs of cultist quarters, of even some messing hall and food, bones, quarters. But when you were following this constant chant that was always far away, you finally went to the bottom floor of all this dungeon. You are in a reliquary. 12 alcoves with different arcane focus ritualistic items stand right to you. In the house also, you found out a raven was stuck in the piano. The raven was following you, and I will say that now, Hector, if you don't mind, if you allowed it, I'll say that the raven's kind of just hanging in your lamp,
Yeah.
because there's not much space for him to fly. So since you guys are in the dungeon, he's like very comfortable being nearby you. The Raven seems smart / kind of keen, even so. He kind of realizes you guys are people, you are not necessarily a threat, so he's kind of comfortable being close to you. And when you reach the reliquary, I think it was you and Lide that were going south to see some sort of a ledge going down. There, that was a dark still water, probably 3 feet deep, leading you guys to a bar iron gate. And in the other side, the room where the chanting was coming from. You see this large ritual chamber. Chains coming from the ceiling in a large and tall stone dais with an altar into the top. Even from there, with the brief part of your light, Hector, you can see blood into the altar. There are 2 short stairs that give you access to some sort of a dry passageway in the flanks. And in the end, so in south of the map, there is some sort of a broken section of the wall giving you access to a natural alcove of the underground. There's no one in that room, but even so, you are sure that the chanting is coming from there. And finally, you can understand what they're singing. He is the ancient. He is the land. And this is where we are finally back from the break. So guys, Nat and Nat, you were the last one to come down from the stairs. Marcus, your priest's eyes cannot avoid looking to all of these items into the reliquary. You can see the most diverse pieces of a clergy, but all of them seem made from something natural, something organic. Hector, you put your lamp as a lamp above your head a bit just to illuminate the whole room. The raven stands still there, but your eyes and his are attracted by this section of the wall. This is where the ledge with the ritual chamber stands at. As you approach Lide, you cannot see all the extension of the ritual chamber. You just see a bit past the gate, you can see the water and some of the pillars. But because of how the wind inside moves the dust nearby you, you can understand that it's a large room. And it's, let's say it's almost 10 feet drop to go to the water.
I don't suppose anyone's good at swimming.
Not my strongest suit.
I can keep myself from drowning, that's about it.
Someone else may want to take a look. Do you see anyone in there?
See what I can
Voices
see.
sound weird.
So where I'm at is the ledge, or is it one further?
Yes. Oh no, it's one further, it's here. This is correct.
Okay. Kind of looked like there's water there, so I wanted to double check.
Yeah. It's just 10 feet, Nat. You can probably just jump there and come back. At least out of any initiative order when you have time to slowly put your hands there and hang yourself upwards. So yeah. You jump. Your feet dive into the water. It hits a bit below your waistline. So it's not enough for you to need to swim, but it's enough to be difficult terrain. The bar seems to be solid and made of some sort of a sturdy steel. Completely attached to the ceiling.
So it goes all the way up. Okay. Is there anything in the water?
So far, not that you can see. The water is dark, but it's very, very dull. You cannot see even your boots.
Oh, I'll try to climb my way back out. Yeah, I don't see anything. Better advantage of that.
How deep did you say the water was again?
Close to your
My
waistline.
waist.
Waist. Okay.
All So about 3 feet.
Yeah, pretty much.
About a meter of water.
Do you a way to open the portcullis?
There wasn't like a padlock or anything on it, was there?
No. It seems just a gate.
There's another path that brings us further toward the chamber on the left.
Maybe there's a hole in the wall or something like that.
Yeah, can you tell me more about the ritual objects along each of the alcoves, I guess?
Sure. Which one?
Because they would be in
Oh,
Lide's
God.
line of sight too.
I guess, do any of them draw special attention? Nothing's like glowing or emitting any magical vibes?
So
Or
as-
vibe
This dagger
check.
draws my attention.
So before you go back there, Nat, as you and Hector are kind of looking for the both entrance itself, Marcus, you and Lide look to each other, kind of start to look to the objects, as you mentioned about those one first. The first thing you see are the dagger and the knife. And you're approaching them, you realize they were not made of iron or steel. This one seems to be carved by a human bone, and the other one is also made from a bone that you cannot recognize from where, but there is a rat skull in the pommel. Your eyes attempt to flee a bit from these horrible items to just find a small mummified yellow hand with sharp claws. There's a loop of rope in the base of the hand. In Lide, you see Marcos, you were pondering some items nearby you. As you can see Marcos going away to check the other corner. Let me just see... Okay. The first thing that the moths will point to you is a rat on a stick. No, sorry, a frog lashed on a stick. Very simple, very basic, but very disgusting. There's something that looks to be some sort of a severed finger very close to you. But in between them, there's a very simple folded and filthy cloth piece. It doesn't draw your attention. You're already looking to a book in the other side or even a mummified figurine. When the moths move following the wind that seems to sing your name. The wind comes from this alcove.
I guess I'll move to look like it's wrapped. Like the cloth is wrapped around something.
Something small. So small that you can only see there's something in between the cloth piece if you pay attention.
I'll unwrap it.
When you touch it, you see that you can feel that the wind stops blowing. And as you unfold, it's a very old, dry, and crumbling into dust larva of a moth.
Look like it's one of the same kind as mine.
No, far from it. You saw several larvas from your moon moths, but this one is bigger, like the size of your thumb. Seems dead and dry to the bones for decades, if not centuries.
Drape the cloth back on top of it before turning back away.
A split second before you fold it, you have a small feeling that it just moves, contracts and retracts very quickly.
Backs away.
Having
Did anyone
read,
find anything?
I was gonna ask, having read some of the Book of Dark Rituals, does any of this seem familiar, or like, do I have any idea what the purpose is besides creepiness?
You would be the only one here that will know that every single item in this reliquary, it was very likely to be an arcane focus of a cleric, a priest, or even a warlock.
Mm.
They don't seem to have different purposes beyond that. Of course, every single item has different properties. But they're probably from each different cultist.
I'm gonna back away. Probably best not to touch anything. Nothing over here besides creepy hand things.
Lide, just to be sure, you are putting the larva back in the place, or are you taking with you? I didn't grasp that.
Don't ask me these questions, Evan.
No, it's genuine. I didn't understand if you were putting back the cloth in the place or just like in a pouch or something.
He would put the cloth back on top of it and back away. He's leaving it there.
Mm-hmm.
You guys find anything?
No, just this
Nothing
path
unless
leading
you
into
want-
the chamber, it seems.
If you want a frog on a stick.
Hector, the path you found lead you to some sort of a prison, dungeons. You see shackles and chains attached to the walls. They're all very old and rusty. Going a bit further, you can hear now the chanting bouncing through the wall at your left side, right on the map, that trespass this place and gets inside the dungeon. Only one single skeleton, wearing those dark robes you found in the death house, are still here. But besides that, the whole dungeon seems to be empty.
Prison.
What god did you get sacrificed?
No,
Hold them somewhere.
maybe whatever they were doing was completed.
Would it be crazy to grab the robes? Possible shenanigans
This is a
if
dead
we
end down
can
here.
blend in with them.
There's no escape that way.
You said something about like this wall being like the chanting being louder or something.
Yes.
Can I do like an investigation check or something on it?
You don't need to, because when you approach it, there is constant the moth dust from Lide around all of you. Especially when you are close to him. Lide, even without looking, you can feel the dust getting inside a very small lack between two cobblestones here. There's a secret door to the chamber.
Over there. There's a door.
Nat, you just put both the palm of your hands there and you can just push it to move to give access to the chamber.
Oh. There goes nothing, and this ledge is the same height as the room, right?
Yes, so this is basically the ground, and you can imagine that there's like 1 feet between it's a 1 feet ledge from the water.
Okay, so it's 4 feet, and then
Yeah. No, I mean, I think
oh, that's
it's a bit more, I think, but the water is already difficult terrain, so you can easily just hang yourself there and just push it to the walkway. Yeah. a bit
okay.
more.
Yeah, I'd say it's like probably
Yeah,
another
so-
3 feet above.
Yeah,
so,
more 3 feet. I was thinking about it.
So it'd be like a 2 or 3 foot drop from this secret passage.
Mm-hmm.
3 more for the water.
3 more, and then water, and then 3 down. Yeah.
Oh, the water would break the landing, I'm sure.
As this space is way bigger than the rest of the underground that you guys were exploring, finally the raven spread its wings and starts to fly and just lands here in the altar. Then it starts to take a look around everything.
Oh, I don't like that it named at the altar.
Yeah.
So far, nothing happens. It's just
I don't
moving.
trust that bird.
It's trapped in a piano.
Is this room like well lit? Or is it just my lantern that's lighting it up? Okay.
Just your lantern.
Well,
What is that?
one of us might as well go inspect the. Oh, looks like like the refuse pile. Or the.
Bodies afterwards.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to swim in that filth?
I'm gonna move past you and just look at you as I start moving into the water. To
Yeah,
get
I
a
was just
better
kind
look
of.
at it.
I'm just throwing myself in over here.
The smell in that alcove reminds you of rotten flesh and a very long ago sort of a carnage. Death. There's a lot of cobblestone and even natural rocks from just the underground, piled atop of several human bones. And under it, Hector, you can see flesh. Rotten, putrid dark meat. That probably is what gave the water this color through the centuries.
Does it look like the rocks are just like coming up from the ground, or is it like they fell down from the ceiling? Because this looks like it was like almost blown out or something like that.
It seems that the wall broke and there's some sort of a excavation here that probably collapsed at some point. As we're all inside the ritual chamber, you can tell that the voice, the chanting, is coming from every single direction, especially to the corners. So you can imagine that this time is a bit more loud than usual.
I'm gonna make sure I have my sword drawn, just in case, because
Yeah.
this whole thing gives me the EBGBs.
I'll have one fan out right now.
Yeah. What
See
can I
anything in
see
there?
of the altar, I guess, besides the blood? I see the blood.
At the altar, you see that 4 sets of chains are coming from the ceiling that is very tall above your head. There's one pair of shackles, covered in a very, very old stain of blood that spills in the rest of the altar. At this point, I'll say that this is the point where the raven kind of stops flying around and stop there with you. And Marcus, roll me a religion check.
Ooh. That's one of my good ones. Please don't fail me, Marcus.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
That's a 26 hit.
26. Yep.
Okay.
This room is the coldest room you have ever been since you got into the fog. Following the chants doesn't lead you anywhere, but you are for sure. This whole chamber, the altar, somehow even the hole into the wall, tells you of sacrifice rituals. And when you have this click in your mind, you realize your hand is almost going to grab the ritual of undying to see if you can find anything else about when the chant stops.
Turn around and look at the altar to see if somebody's done something to it.
Nope.
I didn't touch
Attack.
anything.
Hector, as you turn around and see Marcus look back to you, you can see that the space in between the tile stones from the floor and the walls starts to turn black, leaking some sort of a shadowy goo there. As a voice starts to speak with you from here. You came all this way. That goo starts to leak in some sort of a dark fog and assume a humanoid, male but slightly faceless form. You only know about this because of the several portraits you see. You see a faceless version of Gustav Durst, And he's already facing you, Marcus. Tell me, child, what is what your heart seeks?
We seek immortal life from Osibus.
That guy, Saya just like whips her head around and
Yeah.
kind of like stares at you like, what?
The other dark stains around the room. When Marcus say that, it starts to quickly form in more cultist shapes. All of them with cloaks and hoods. As right next to Gustav, coming from the wall next to him, you see Rosenthorn's mom. That is wonderful. Are you seeking to be one of us? Are all of you seeking the blessings of Osibus? As Gustav keeps talking, the path that lies in front of you is righteousness, but yet not easy. And he raised his hand pointing to the altar. As we manage to be bestowed by his gifts, one must go to the others prevail. As the chants come back, coming from all the shadows, but now it changed for one must die. As all the cultists start to look at the dais. One must die.
Look what you got us into, Marcus.
Hey, at least we can see them now. I think, yeah, we can start to attack, probably.
We're not going to listen to these heretics. Are you fucking kidding me? What? We're not going to kill anything.
As soon as the word heretic is spoken, all the cultists just stop, and all the heads turn to Hector.
I'm already pointing a sword at this thing. Are you... As I said that,
So
I was
Hector-
pulling out the sword and pointing it at it.
So you are drawing your sword, turning to the occultist, when this guy just turned to you. Imagine like the hood is kind of attached to the head, and the head does not have any eyes or mouth, just like some lines. The voice coming from it is, "What did you call us?" And Hector, as you make the attack, the cultist just with 1 point of damage just blows and vanishes. As all the heads are still talking, are still looking at you. The heads start to slowly, very robotic look to the ceiling. And the chant come back. The chant turns to Lorgoth the Decayer. We awaken thee. As Elizabeth, if one life will not be given today, 5 will be taken. She also look upwards. Gustav does the same. And they all turn into this dark goo that just leak into the ground and start to turn into the water. They drive all the way here, merging, gathering together. The bones, the rotten flesh, even some rocks start to merge into this darkness form of Lorgoth the Decayer. As you guys can roll initiative.
Hector, you might be slightly in a bad location. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm last too.
This amorphous creature made of this shadowy dark goo, constantly moving through its body. Two large arms are formed first, some sort of an opening mouth that leaks essence of souls that are constantly screaming, shouting, and chanting about Lord of the Decayer is formed. Also traveling through the body, you see mouths, eyes, and dark form arms with hands constantly moves. As that, when the thing is just forming and leaking this miasma from inside, the raven just calls at first, and you're up.
See, I do have spells like Sleep and Tasha's Hideous Laughter, but I'm not sure how effective they're gonna be against a thing known as the Decayer. First thing I'm doing is, this is equal to range, this is 10 feet, should be 20 feet to get there. I think that's as far as I'm gonna go with this. Oh, okay, I can't see it from up there, so I guess I'll stay down here until I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
You cannot see it from there?
No, I think this blocks me. This pillar. If it has
No,
collision.
Hector is also not seeing it. Maybe it's because of the light? No.
No, I think Hector's wall goes to like there, it looks like.
Yeah, but Hector, I realize Hector cannot see it as well.
I can't.
Okay, so don't worry. I
I can see it from where I'm at.
I will move the
so.
token a bit forward so you can see, and then Lida and Hector can also see the token.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this.
Hector, what did you do?
Oh. I figured that it was gonna be smaller than that.
No, he's a big boy.
Sorry, I didn't realize you guys were not seeing it.
Yeah,
That's
no,
why
I
you were
saw
so
it.
quiet.
I figured I was in the corner.
Yeah.
Lida was just gonna wait for the epic reveal of it coming around the corner. Do I spend my last spell slot to try to make this thing prone?
Oh, this is something very physical, so I can tell you it cannot be shoved prone. It's an amorphous creature. It's almost like a goo or a oozy. There's no like legs.
I mean, it also receives the incapacitated condition.
Oh, if he was left, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that thing counts as a creature, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is a creature.
Okay.
A very big and
Okay.
powerful one.
I might as well do
Yeah?
that. Like,
Yeah, you
it's
think-
literally
you think
the only
it's-
thing I can do.
I mean, he doesn't look that big and powerful.
Big and powerful.
Yeah.
He's only 4x4. Or 3x3.
Well,
3x3.
I mean, there's nothing else I can really spend my spell slot on besides damage, but I don't know how effective that thing's gonna be.
Holy shit.
Right? Fingers crossed. It rolls a natural 13
Does it have
And
any
fails.
modifiers?
and fails.
Oh, let's go! This factor's useful for once.
Nice. Wait, it worked in the animated armor last session. Or two
Oh, did
sessions
it?
ago, I guess.
Did.
Oh,
Yeah,
it did.
The
I
armor
forgot to
spent
get
the whole
that to
time.
it.
The
Yeah.
whole time just laughing. Alright,
I
but
remember that now.
it's a amalgam of spirits, of souls, of cultists that believe they achieved immortal life. How are you making this creature laugh? Or it doesn't need to be like laughing, but you're incapacitating it with magic. How are you doing that?
I imagine I'm showing them kind of what they want to see. So, like, it's kind of like, have you ever been, like, so tired where, like, you think you're doing something, like getting out of bed and getting dressed, and then you wake up for a second time?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to do that to it, where, like, in its mind or minds, it thinks it's going to town, like, eating us all up, but in reality, it's just sitting there.
Oh, nice, like an inception.
Yeah. So like to it, it's doing whatever it wants to do, but to us, it's just sitting there.
All right. So Hector and Lide, as you guys were slightly in the blind spot, you could see, of course, this dark goo. Imagine like a very, very dark blood. All right, but with the blood, there's like rotten flesh and meat pieces. So when this creature is forming these two arms that are kind of long, like 6-7 feet long, it's pulling itself out of the alcove. But as it's amorphous, when it touches the wall, the arm starts to kind of turn into the wall, like filling the whole wall with that goo. Ned just make eye contact with the whole mass, and the creature stops. It's about to take its head away off the alcove. It cannot be turned prone, it's immune to this condition, but the creature is incapacitated. It's just standing still, and the head was about to face you, Marcus. Sorry, Hector.
Yeah. I will say, like, I don't know how much longer I can hold it, but it's stopped for now. And I will end my turn where I'm at.
So, Lide.
Well, since I'm basically right next to it. Well, I guess let's see how durable this thing could be.
Well, if you attack it, it will make it lose the laughter, so we might want to just...
Prepare.
Oh yeah, so for you guys to know, to remember how the Tasha's does left work. In the end of Lorgoth's turn, it will reroll the save, but anytime it took damage, it will reroll the save with advantage as well.
So I say we get at least wait until Hector's on our side or all on the same side, so if we need to flee, we're not
Yeah.
separated.
I guess we're getting